Cults. Although only seem to be introduced in the 20th century, they have caused a lot of harm for many people, mentally, physically, emotionally, and/or sexually. This is what is talked about in the episode 4 of the podcast Spooky Psychology with Megan and Lauren. The episode also discusses the types of cults, the characteristics of cult members and leaders, the tactics leaders use to lure new members, and 2 specific cults, the Sullivan cult and the Children of God. I chose this topic because of one person, Mikey, creator of the YouTube channel Glamincore. Usually she would do a makeup-related video, but in October of 2019, she did a Halloween ghost hunting series, which happens to be one of my favorite YouTube series. On the second episode, her friend Spencer Henry, and her boyfriend, Anthony Padilla, would go visit the Holiday Inn Express in Salt Lake City, Utah. Yeah, not scary sounding, but the reason for visiting relates back to cults. Unfortunately, after scamming many people, including his family, cult leader Emmanuel David committed suicide in a Utah canyon. And 2 days later, Mrs. David made and/or convinced her 7 children to jump off the 11th floor of the Holiday Inn Express. She jumped as well, believing she could not financially take care of her children. The eldest daughter survived, but would go on continuing believing that her prophet father will come back. Knowing this happened, I wanted to understand cults, to see exactly what they do to people. Also, I would like to mention, Mikey and her friends were very sensitive about the situation, and they also did not find any ghosts. Something I think about differently is how adults can be easily manipulated just as much as children. Throughout this course, there are lessons that mention how the minds of children and adults are different. In the lifespan development chapter, it writes how a person's mental capacity increases with age. So it seems that if a cult leader wants to lure you in, it won't be as difficult as many people think, or at least as I thought, because I thought it'd be easier to manipulate a child rather than an adult, but it doesn't necessarily seem that way. So I find it strange to think that no matter what age you are, you can be manipulated into a cult. Because of the amount of deaths that cults have caused, I wanted to know the exact number. Unfortunately, there were no sources that gave me that number, which is probably why it was also not mentioned in the podcast. But I did receive many sources about the Jonestown Massacre. Naturally, I became curious and I was given a new question to think about. What's the Jonestown Massacre and what exactly happened? And in 1978, Jim Jones convinced and/or forced over 900 of his members to drink a beverage that had cyanide. So that is a lot of people, and it shocked me to realize how many people died because of this one man. Also, this comes from the official FBI website, so I did not find any doubt when reading this article. For my career, I am still debating, but I might want to be a film critic. This type of career takes a lot of different types of analysis. Because of this, I can take all I learned to analyze any cult movie that comes and I want to critique it. For example, Midsommar. I haven't watched it yet, but if I were to watch it now, I can think back to what I learned from this project and try to relate it to my movie. But either way, I can use whatever I learned from this course for my career because it did take a lot of analysis from the human mind. Thank you.